And the flag.
Okay, we're on. All right, let's call this work session to order. First topic is document storage. What do we got?
About a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, John first?
John, do you want to talk about Carnegie?
No, I'm up, yep.
Yes, please.
So this is a follow-up to our, we decided it was July 11th
Right.
conversation about whether or not it was cost feasible to
Right.
renovate Carnegie.
As you can see here, I've put together some of the replacement costs of some of the major things, not to be inclusive for everything, but start right off with some of the explanations. The boiler needs to be replaced. This is something that we just fix on a daily basis. The AC units, one is brand new, another one needs to be replaced. That would be $7,000 to $9,000 because it's a little bit bigger than the other one. And then there's two other units in there that are working okay for right now, so we would leave them alone.
So if I look at the entrance on the side, there's 3 units to the side there. Those are 3 units.
There's actually 4 there, yeah,
Okay.
but there's a little one there.
And those
as well.
are air conditioners, those aren't heat pumps.
Right, right. The roof is a terracotta tile type roof. It's in bad shape, especially around the flashings and stuff. If you were to replace that, it would be far more than $150,000, but to take it off and put a long-term roof on it, it would be roughly $150,000. I take those numbers from the roofing jobs we've been doing throughout the county, and these are my estimates, not necessarily contractor estimates.
Now, were you thinking like a standing steel roof or seam roof or?
I don't think 150 would do a steel roof. It would probably be could be a steel siding or a steel shingle. Similar, if you look at what's going on the Justice Center, that's a steel shingle on there. You could always go with something like that, but they're considerably more. When I did this here, I was thinking of a rubber roof type setup. So the tuck pointing, just looking at the building, especially around the peaks and the valleys and so forth, roughly 50% of the building needs to be tuck pointed. Problem with that is that building is only 18 inches away from Burns's building. Not a whole lot of us in this room can fit in 18 inches and work. I know I can't. That's why I'm saying that.
I'll leave that job for you.
There you go. Yes, but that, you know.
Probably not tall enough.
And because of that, that side of the building's in bad shape, always has been, stays wet. Gutters are, I'd have to get a man lift in just to clean gutters, which we haven't done for a while. But that also is the area of the building, the foundation, naturally, that it's a little wet. It's more wet back in the southwest corner, where we actually have issues with the water down there. So that's the tuck pointing. Windows are original. What do you do with them? They can be scraped and painted and look all right. They're still inefficient. They can be replaced, or they can be boarded, which I don't think that's where we want to go with our buildings. But they definitely need something attended to them. Interior renovations, there again, you put this elevator in, you bring it up, you open you go into the first floor, where are you? You're in Judge Meyer's courtroom. So now we got to start tearing things out so we can get maybe to the other end of the building, start putting storage shelves in and so forth, storage bins. So there's going to be a lot of stuff removed from the interior. As you walk through there, the walls, the offices and so forth, it's been a legal building for quite a few years. So there's a dollar value on that. That has to be handled before you can even start running boxes in there. Down below is just a rough idea of what we're talking about. This does not include, since it is a dollar amount of 300 and some thousand, prevailing wage is 20% on top of that. That's usually that'd be about 60,000 on top of that. Engineering costs could be 10 to 30,000, depends on where we go with this. And I say that only because of the elevator would have to be engineered. Even though you're only going up 5 foot and down 6, it's still, you know, it's just like putting an elevator in. We, for instance, the CSB building, that was over $200,000 when we just rebuilt that elevator. So,
Yeah, the shaft is there.
right. So, and the utilities, they are what they are. Year to date, we've had $9,000. Certainly, storage, we wouldn't keep it near as warm nor near as cool. But we certainly want to keep the humidity level down to a certain level. So that's kind of the update on that. As far as whether we want to decide to keep it or not, or utilize it as storage, and go from there.
Okay, thanks, John. Well, you wanna maybe give Shango, once you start, give your thoughts about what you think we ought to do.
Well, I'm not dissuaded from its merits. You know, I think you know, a couple guys this all saw in $10,000 we could clear the top, and you know the rest of it could be done over time. You know, we could clear out the offices and the courtrooms, and that's ClearSpan, or it was created as ClearSpan when it was the library. So none of those walls are load bearing, and so you know we could do that fairly quickly. You know, the elevator, I think, is essential, but it wouldn't be immediate. So, I mean, I think it has merit that way. You know, the roof and some of these other things that are on the horizon, good to note, but I'm not sure that, you know, $150,000 for a roof is imminent. So I don't know if there's any urgency there.
So, Holly.
As when we talked about this before and years before, when we talked about just the sheer number of buildings that the county owns and is maintaining, I've not been a big fan of keeping a lot of buildings in terms of in our inventory to maintain that aren't 100% essential. And then what we have to keep, what can we keep and keep at what's cost efficient and all of those kinds of things. Which is why 81 Jefferson just drove me crazy. When we think about the amount of money with nobody in it that we spend, I mean, we spend a little less than this building that's got people in it. But, you know, about $8,000 or close to $8,000 a year just to keep it operable as is, and it's not adequate really for storage. It's just protecting some things. So I'm not a fan of having the building in our inventory. I'm really not, because I look at these costs and the potential of maybe getting it retrofitted one way or another with some work put into it. It does take that work, and these other things will be inevitable, like 81 Jefferson, a roof and the windows, and then we've had the same things happen out at the TB hospital, where we've got buildings and we had leakage going on, and we had to get in there and fix that things to protect the documents in there. Wherever they're at, we've got to have them protected. So I guess I have to wonder if there's a better way to do it, that it's not just a temporary fix or a short-term fix, or because of the potential of the other expenses down the road, and or because we can't afford to put on. And then I'm wondering, with that building being in downtown, if we did change the roof out, if we did do some things to it, do we start to have a less attractive building? I think it's a beautiful building now, and I'd like to see it purposed for something that makes sense under somebody else's ownership.
Okay, well, I guess I can summarize my thoughts by saying that we are exhibiting the definition of insanity here. We have buildings that, south side of town that are in dire need of repair that we're using for storage. TB Hospital being one of them. We've got 81 Jefferson Street that we tried to repurpose as a storage facility, and we know how all that's working out, not very well. We have a bunch of deferred maintenance on the Farm Services Building, on the TB Hospital, and now on the Carnegie Library. It would just seem to me that we would be much better off as a county to take whatever the money was required to repurpose this building and erect a building that is specifically for storage, climate control, humidity control, with an office, and makes sense to fit our long-term needs. We all know that if the estimate's 300,000, it's probably 600,000 by the time you would get done doing the things that need to be done to maintain this thing on a long-term basis. So, having said that, my recommendation or my thought process is similar to Commissioner Stacy's in that it would be against all probabilities that this building is going to be a long-term storage facility. It is not. It was never designed for that, just like the TB Hospital never was, and just like 81 Jefferson Street was. And now we're going to create another situation that's similar to what we've done in the past. So I would suggest that when we get into session that we just simply move to try to either market that building or at least not use it as storage, because it absolutely makes no sense to me. But that's my thoughts. So.
Yeah, and I just think, it actually was built for storage, document storage. It was built as a library, so it needs updated, but it was absolutely built to store documents, books. And the idea that we could build something south of town and have it accessible for our elected officials is, we're gonna end up incurring money for people driving out there. There's workers' comp implications. So we'd be reconstructing something downtown when we have a facility that doesn't have any parking, but it's use that doesn't need a lot of parking. And so, I think it really merits our full consideration. There's nothing in these numbers that dissuade me from thinking that this is the best plan. We can open up the second floor with those walls that are not load bearing, put some flooring down and have a spot for scanning, document retention. If the floors already have, in the basement have rolling files, so we know that it has that capacity. And it's also a very nice looking building that with the East Green coming online and the redevelopment that's happening there, it's going to be a much more prominent building in downtown Tiffin. It doesn't get the love that it deserves because Market's a one-way street that goes the wrong way, so you never really get a vantage of it. But if you go stand on East Green and look back, it's a quite charming building. So I'm undeterred by these costs.
Okay, well, in the interest of bringing this thing to a conclusion, I think we ought to have some type of discussion in session as to which way we want to go. Okay, juvenile probate cost?
That's kind of what this was.
That's
Yeah.
what this, okay, I
Yeah.
thought maybe we were talking about,
Oh, no.
okay.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, and John wouldn't have been here then, I think it would have been you and I in this room and Nikki. But about 2014, didn't we do some kind of roof? It wasn't a replacement, but we had some kind of roof repair or something, because we had to get the special lift in and the people to handle that terracotta roof. But what was that? Was it just a leak, or
I think John was here for that.
were you here? No.
We did some tuck pointing on the peaks,
I thought we did some
to
back
keep
like
the
when
bricks
Jeff was still here, or,
falling out. We did that in 2015.
Well, when we, A couple of years ago, when we formed the building committee, we kind of reviewed some sites, and it was pointed out, you pointed it out, John, earlier, and then the guys that looked at it pointed out that there's actually some danger of bricks falling on the street, and so then we spent some money trying to shore that up. I don't have any idea how much. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was some money to do that. And as far as, deferring the roof, for example, it was discussed and that roof was looked at, and there was no question that it absolutely needs to be replaced at this point. If there isn't any deferred hope that it's got another 2 years or 5 years.
Right.
I mean, anybody that goes up to that roof that knows about roofing says it needs to be replaced now or you're gonna have some serious problems. And then obviously the water damage that it would cause, et cetera, would just multiply the problem. So to suggest that this stuff that you're talking about, can be deferred into the future, not very far. We're talking about something that absolutely has to happen within the next couple of years if we're going to use that as a facility.
And maybe it wasn't, maybe we did some inspection of it or something.
Yeah, 'cause I remember there
I
was.
just remember us having to have the lift in to do it, and
I actually hired somebody, since I've been here,
Yeah.
okay. See, that was
to
an
do
issue
some
for
tuck
you.
pointing on the front, and it was about a $4,000 repair. At that time, he pointed out many bad things on the roof and a lot of the valleys on the roof and stuff. He actually fixed a couple of them for us while he was up in the air, but he said at that time that roof needs to be taken care of, so. And I just think.
And I don't go for he said, she said, just because things get repeated often that aren't accurate. So if you have any documentation on that, I'd love to see it. But to my point, Mike, it's not insanity, it's practicality. We could clear that second floor and get documents up there in an immediate sense, and these other things can be worked on over time.
Well,
And they're not mutually exclusive. You can tuck point a building while the documents are in there. You can have an elevator while the documents are in there. You can repair the roof if needed, when it's needed. And it doesn't disturb the operation that could occur inside.
Well, by insanity, I mean trying to repurpose old buildings as storage units. And the ones that we have done in the past are 81 Jefferson Street that is now in a horrible state of repair that can't be replaced, and the TB hospital that we use now is now in a horrible state of repair that will cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix up properly. So we are, even though the library was quote unquote a place for storage of books, it was never set up as a place to to have document storage and historical storage for the long term. It was a long time ago that building was built. Had that building been built specifically for storage in today's environment, it would certainly have a lot of different features than it has now. So the fact, when I talk about definition of insanity, I'm talking about trying to repurpose old buildings that the county owns for the purpose of storage. That has not worked out very well. We have two, both of which need significant work, and both of which are not long for the ability to continue to house our documents. So, I vehemently would be against doing a third, which is, again, when I talk about the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. I just think it's ironic that we would not repurpose a library to be a document storage facility, that will repurpose juvenile probate to be, or the annex to be juvenile probate, and possibly spend more money. So if we're going to take common pleas and spend more money to repurpose it to juvenile probate, I think this is a bargain compared to that.
But that's conducting the business on behalf of all those they serve and those who work there in order to be able to do their jobs. So spending that money is a little easier to spend when you see how it's used on a daily basis. To me, when I look at, again, the people being able to do their jobs, justice to be able to be served upon the people that are needing to go there, And, you know, it's drastically different in terms of daily use for the court operations.
Okay.
I would say that people access document storage who disagree.
All right, strategic planning is the next topic.
Yeah, I was wanting to get something on the calendar, and I think December 13th looked like a date where we had a day, and there was no conflict.
December 13th?
Yeah, I just wanted to get something on, you know, I wanted to take a look at the strategic plan and
So you would do,
planning.
we think, what we've done the last couple of times, like a half a day, or?
Yeah, yeah.
To really
usually
get
a
through
morning.
some-
Well, we usually met at noon and worked the afternoon, I think, or did we do it in the morning?
I think we've done it both. We
Oh.
did, we started at public safety in the morning and then
Depending on our schedules here and everybody else's schedules, we can flip them.
the Wednesday.
Okay, well, it's a little ways away, but that's,
Gives us a chance to get the, you
Yeah.
talking about the whole elected officials,
Well,
invite all of them. as
Well,
usual.
I don't know, I mean, that's part of the conversation, you know, who do we have do strategic planning, how do we do it, what do we wanna accomplish, who do we invite? You know, from my standpoint, you know, I would like to, you know, breathe a little life into the strategic plan, and maybe look at how we make our decisions and how we, you know, allocate responsibilities, and bring somebody in different that could, you know, maybe move us in that direction.
well, since we do it far enough in advance, how about if we set up two potential dates of December 6th and December 13th to see when we get the most attendance?
So do we want to invite other folks, or do we want it to be a commissioner strategic planning, or what?
I think we would get the strategic planning committee together, who were comprised of, I don't remember who that whole group was,
We had
but
quite a few.
Yeah.
Elected, city, county.
I think that, you know, the commissioners could meet separately after those results were in, but let's look at the 6th and the 13th and see where most people could be there.
I think that when we had the other folks sense that our individual committees have engaged people, I think it, my opinion would be nice to invite them if they can attend. We still gotta see what I agree, where we get the majority of the departments represented and electeds, or however you wanna call that, but, is important to have. Obviously can't do it with the people, without the people there, but I agree, I think it's been helpful. I have to admit, when we first launched into that, Mike, I thought, oh, I don't know, is this gonna get us anywhere? But I think it has. I think it's helped. And I do think, like any strategic plan, we were just talking about this with regional planning, it's time to, it's not that it's gotten dusty, because we've been doing stuff, but we need to dive back into it, look back at it, say, okay, now, with what we've accomplished, are we still in the same directions with those individual departments and stuff? So I think it'll be good to get
So-
back at it.
9 to noon, either on the 6th or the 13th, whenever we can get the most attendance, I guess, whenever it works with people's schedules. Let's just see which date works best.
So I'd invite Chuck.
Yes.
I would like to invite Lori Hall, maybe, to do it.
Well, at this point, we have got an individual who has led us through the process to date. I would hate to change that.
Yeah, my problem with that, Mike, is last time when I witnessed strategic planning, he didn't really lead the discussion. He just kind of got up and said, do we have any changes here? And it's done. So, you know, I would like to, you know, either have more of a robust discussion so that we can, you know, dive into how the decisions are making, the directions we want to go. If we're just going to get up and say, any changes? No, sit down, and we might as well not do it. You know, I would like a different leader, if only to lead us in a more robust conversation.
Well, Commissioner Stacy, what do you think?
I don't know the person you're referencing at all. I just know that the meeting you witnessed was for that purpose strictly. Let's get it updated, and I think his goal was, if I bring you all back together and have you give me an update, I know you're gonna get your individual committees, prioritizing the meetings, because it's one more thing, which is why I was so kind of pessimistic about it way back in the beginning, going, oh, one more thing to work in, but it has worked out. It did force us to get some things together and get answers from some people because we knew we were gonna be getting back together as a whole group and wanting to report out and do that stuff. Otherwise, sometimes some of the longer term things are harder to prioritize, because there's short term things that need attention first. But I think that was the purpose of that gathering, so I don't know
And it's
your
a new
person.
board, so
So
we have a
maybe-
new board, so I think we need.
And maybe they'd work well together. I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
Like I said,
They
it's-
would work well
Chuck's
together.
volunteered a lot of time for us. So I appreciate what he's done, and
Yeah, and so do I. And I, you know, if Lori wants to come, again, I don't know who's I don't know who she is either, but at this point in time, we have a person who's put this together for us and who's returned material to us, and he's done it all on his own time. I appreciate what he's done, and I'm certainly not gonna, I will ask if he would like to continue to lead the strategic plan with the permission of this group, and if he decides that he doesn't want to, then I think we can look elsewhere, but at this point, I don't have any problem with having Mr. Christensen continue.
yeah, and like I said, if she would want to come and be, see how it's working and offer some input and stuff, there's nothing wrong. I'm assuming this is a
Yeah.
Seneca County person,
Yeah,
so it's somebody from the area.
she's a Tiffin University
Okay, and maybe it's.
HR person.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right.
Well,
anything-
she's gonna know Chuck then.
Yeah, they know each other.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, they work well together.
Yeah, yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
that would be.
Okay, any other topics for work session? Yeah, 4 minutes.
Well, we don't really have it on the other agenda, not that it can't be added, but not that it can't be done now. Justice Center, just, I wanna thank those, who helped with stuff for the Cornerstone, because, the Masons, we, early on, I don't know if it came with Steve Leopard's prodding or who, but we suggested to reach out to them, I know you did.
Yeah, there was a lot of good
Steve
love,
did,
yeah.
and it was just a cool ceremony. I really didn't know what I'd expect, but someone said to me about a cornerstone. I said, well, you don't do a cornerstone ceremony unless you have the Masons, because it's their ceremony.
Yeah.
And I just think it was really neat. It was far exceeded my expectations. I didn't know what all they did, but I thought it was really neat. And I think there's a lot of us that that's the first time and may never have another opportunity to witness such a thing. And it was on our building. I just thought it was way cool.
What do you think that same ceremony was used at the Capitol and at the White House? And
Yeah.
I know that we're a number of spots removed from that.
Yeah.
However, but it was the exact same ceremony, so it's just it's nice to put it in historical perspective.
Yeah.
It was a good ceremony. They did a great job, and all the thanks in the world to the Masons. We had guys from Cincinnati and all over the state that came, and the Grand Master was here, and that's a big deal. So.
And then
I appreciate it.
WTSC got us the sound, the ambassadors were helping with handing out programs. Gilbane,
Yeah.
took time to level up, put some more stone down for us so that, we had a good place for all this ceremony to take place. And I know, I'm sure I'm missing people, but we just appreciate everybody who had any part of
We do.
making that happen and everybody who attended. I have no idea how many people were there. I usually have a poor bird's eye view of that, so. But it looked like a deep crowd, I couldn't tell.
That's right. And kudos to Commissioner Stacy for putting all the agendas together and making most of the phone calls. We all try to help a little bit, but the responsibility was hers, so. Thank you.
Together well.
And Buckeye IT did a drone
Oh, yeah.
view for us. He
Oh,
said
we
he's
did?
gonna
Oh, I did.
bring that card down for us so we can see it.
Yeah.
So, he said,
Oh, there was a drone up there?
yes,
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be anxious to see.
Yeah, you want.
see what the crowd looks like.
I guess this can be part of this discussion too. I talked to you guys a couple of times about this, and I don't know if this is what your sense is, but the alley vacation on Cross Parkway for Urban Shock. Again, we've got the feedback from Tanya. She said she didn't have any problem with it. I showed you pictures. He needs to submit that to City Council, and as part of it, he wants to get some neighborhood signatures. There are, I guess I don't want to publicly tell these until they go there, but there are 4 adjacent neighbors who have okayed it. The county is also an adjacent neighbor by virtue of the museum. And what this is a petition to vacate that alley and put up a nice wrought iron fence. So, I don't know if we have an objection to doing that or what the procedure is. If we should run it past Derek to make certain that we can sign on behalf of the county, or even if we want to.
I think we probably ought to ask Derek to see what we can or shouldn't do or whatever, but I drove down it Saturday.
Yeah, so
Kind of by default, because of the
Yeah.
closure of streets and trying to get to the museum. I thought, oh, hey, well, this is good, I'm gonna, and what he's done with that other lot, and then the lot is beautiful. I mean, it's so well maintained, I totally get why he wants to do it. I mean, it makes sense, and I don't think it's gonna impede, and like I said, anything else for the neighborhood, if the neighbors are willing to sign off on it, and our museum director says brings no bearings, because it's not, as I first thought, it's not the alley right behind the museum, it's
No,
the,
it's Cross Parkway, yeah.
the previous, so.
Yeah, I'd go down there too to look at it. Shane,
Yeah.
any thoughts about that?
I'm not sure which alley it is.
It's on Cross Parkway. If you turn right off of, you go over the bridge, turn right immediately, it's almost anywhere, right behind Lenore Livingston's house. Basically.
So that won't be a through?
That will not, no, that
Yeah, right now it
stub,
is just
that
out.
stub will not be a through.
Yeah.
Still be.
Oh,
able
it's
to
off of
drive-
Cross Parkway, it's not
Yes.
behind us, actually.
Right.
Still be able to drive behind and
Go,
beside the
You have that
museum.
aerial?
Yeah, I do.
That black and white drawing, the drawing.
This is, that's the lot that he wants to put the gate up. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the museum.
okay.
Here's what he's wanting to do, because he owns the two.
Gotcha.
Like I said, Clay Street's there, right?
But this actually tees into our alley.
Yes, that does.
Yes.
It stubs into our alley, that's
Yeah,
correct.
So
but this
that-
would still exist to enter this way.
That's why we checked with Tanya and Mark to see if it caused any problems for them, and they said no. In fact, they said that it probably is of assistance because there's some apartments back there that those guys come around that corner pretty fast. It'll slow them down.
We would be
You got that opening to that?
here,
See, I got it.
which is this section here, so it looks so nice when it's done.
Thanks.
That's that info, so that would be your collection.
Okay, well, is there any objection to us signing it if the prosecutor says he's all right with it?
I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, Shay might need to go look at it yet. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the alley, I don't.
All right, so I asked Derek about that. Okay, you done? Anything else? You all set over there?
Yes.
Okay. We'll call the commissioners meeting for Tuesday, September 19th to order. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so open prayer, Heavenly Father, please help us in making decisions that are in your best interest and the citizens' best interest of the county. Please look over those who are now suffering from hurricane damage. And please watch those that are protecting us and their families. We ask all this through your Son. Amen. Okay, let's do roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Okay, so we got a motion to approve the digital audio video recording of the previous board session held September 12th. Accept the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that has been approved. Any adjustments to the agenda?
I have a maintenance budget adjustment request.
All right.
I have just a mention of ribbon cutting in Fostoria yesterday.
You want to talk about the October 3rd meeting?
All right, so let's start with wind energy since that's on the agenda.
Bill Reineke's office has contacted me. Bill's getting ready to line up sponsors for legislation that would move the setbacks to 1.2 times the turbine height. And it's legislation that mirrors Senator Haight's bill. And Senator Haight introduced the legislation earlier this week, or at the end of last week, I guess. And he introduced it with 14 co-sponsors. And so Bill's been asked to introduce legislation mirroring that, and he's in the process of getting co-sponsors for that. And they've asked us for, again, our local support as we have done previously. I have a draft of the resolution, but his office wanted to wordsmith it a little bit. So, I don't know if you want to see the resolution, take action, or...
His proposal is the 1.1.
1.2.
1.2, okay, so that's a compromise.
That's the
And,
compromise.
and our wind, friends in the wind business are okay with that?
They said the project will go forward
Okay.
at that level.
Well, I guess I would accept a motion supporting Mr. Reineke's proposed, is it an amendment or is it?
It's legislation.
Okay, it is new legislation.
Yeah, it would change Ohio revised codes.
Yeah, regarding,
Resolution that you sent me.
regarding wind energy, and all the comments that I've had at least are positive, and, I mean, I shouldn't say all.
Yeah.
A high majority of the comments that I've had are positive.
Yeah, I haven't had any negative, but that doesn't mean that they're not out there. But the fact is, it's a $400 million investment in Seneca County, and we have over 300 landowners who have signed up for the project. So,
Well, we did have a meeting out in West Republic, what township?
Adams.
Yeah.
We were in Reed Township.
Reed.
Reed, well, we were Reed Township, and we did have some people that were very concerned about it on the other side. So just to note that there is another opinion about it. However, I am of the, I would certainly accept the motion to accept Bill's legislation proposal.
so moved.
Second, and I had just comment, since I know it's mirroring sites, and I know that's been
Heights.
Heights.
Yeah.
I just want to get those two mixed up.
Right.
Mirroring that legislation that I know has been vetted and gone through, and we've been supportive of. Otherwise, I was gonna say I'd want to see it, but if it's mirroring that, I have no problem supporting it. We appreciate what Representative Reinicke is doing to make this happen and help move it forward for Seneca County.
Roll call.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Frischler?
Yes. We actually had it prepared, huh? Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything that we'll want changed on that, but
Yeah,
that's the support.
I asked them to look at it, and they were trying to wordsmith it and get it to me back this morning, but it hasn't
Okay.
arrived.
We can always resign another one if there's some changes they wanted made.
Okay, 81 Jefferson Street, Prosecutor Devine is going to get me kind of a Gantt chart, a time chart, as to what we need to do the public auction. We thought at first we could do an online auction. That process is not going to happen. So we are going to do a public auction at some point on 81 Jefferson Street, but we need to have the procedural guidance from the prosecutor, and we will have that soon. Hopefully I'll bring that to you next Tuesday for approval and moving it forward. Maintenance budget.
Maintenance budget. Tanya had given me, John and her went over some budget numbers, and at the beginning of 2017, well, actually end of 2016, maintenance budget was tight. We were moving forward with 2017's budget, and at the time they decided not to put any additional funding in the maintenance budget to cover the rest of 16, so we court ordered 16's ending year with the beginning of 17, which has now coming to the point where it's going to short 2017's budget. We did increase it a little bit, but it's apparently not enough. We've done a few different, she's got a couple projects that they've done that was out of the ordinary that, you know, was paid for out of his budget instead of moving money around, painting in the maintenance building, replacing the door at the prosecutor's office. He had to remove some trees at the engineer's office and the museum. We had to pay for the roof patch at the engineer's office. It was getting rained on out there. And then we had the RTA water issues that we've still been working on. The average monthly cost of what his contract services for the general maintenance, not including the jail, he's running about $40,500 a month. So what they're asking for to get through the remainder of the year in his radio contract services is $80,000. The contract services on the jail side, it's running about $32,400 a month average. So what they are requesting for the contract services on the jail is about $50,000 for the remainder of the year. His supplies, we only budgeted $40,000 at the beginning of the year. I think he's down to about $4,000. So they are requesting an additional 10 because with the Justice Center going to be opening, we're going to have to buy supplies, the toilet paper, the cleaner, the stuff that we don't currently have. That's usually where he buys all that stuff from, is out of his supply budget. So we're going to need some money in there to start getting that ready, because we're going to have to buy it in December. They're going to be moving January 1, so that's what they put together that they would need and are requesting. John, if you want to explain the carpet cleaner, he had gotten some quotes. Our previous extractor carpet cleaner has finally got to the point we can't get replacement parts on it anymore. I think the last couple, he's running about $3,000 or $4,000 on new ones, so they're requesting $4,000. We've got a lot of departments that, we gotta keep the forest clean, and we're having to do contract service right now, since our machine is down. They just can't get it running. So,
Right, I've gotten a couple estimates, and we can buy the exact model we have, but that's only a 200 PSI unit, and I'd like to go to 500 PSI. It does a much better job, and it's not that much more. But I also found a competing carpet extractor. It has just about all the parts that the brand name does. It has all the equal horsepower, but even the parts are still the same. And I can get that for $2,300. Now, what I'd like to add to that is a tile scrubber, since come January we got tile to clean, and it fits right on here. It works off of this extractor, and that's about $900. So the original one was $3,500 just for itself without a tile scrubber. So that's what we're up against. Our extractor has worked very well. It has dual power to it. One of the powers is gone, and it's just been a headache trying to find. We've had 3 different motors in here, and then had to send them back. And so I think it's time for a new extractor.
Well, there is a cost to doing the kind of preventive maintenance that we've been attempting to do throughout the years. Part of it is the product of the fact that we're being aggressive with trying to make certain that things are as they should be, as opposed to letting things go. So, you got a summary now of that? I heard about 6 different things here.
yeah, and the total, and I can read the resolution later.
Okay.
But the total of what all that's being requested is $144,000.
Okay, so and that's in the appropriations when we do those, or do you want
I
those?
have one ready if you guys are okay with it, that I can add to it.
Okay,
But
why
I
don't you
just
read it,
wanted
then we
to-
can have, once we either get a motion or not, then we can have the discussion about it at that point.
All right, I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the general fund, putting $10,000 in supplies, $4,000 in equipment. Regular contract services, $80,000. Contract services for the jails, $50,000, for a total of $144,000.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Okay? Second?
I would prefer to see these things in advance. That's a lot of money to move and, try and hear, through.
It didn't have to be passed today, this was me bringing it up today, so
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to win.
Okay.
I'm not, saying that we shouldn't spend money. I would just prefer to see this stuff with 24 hours notice if it,
Okay, you want to withdraw your motion, we'll handle it next Tuesday?
It's dead. Gone.
Okay, that's history. We will handle it next Tuesday after we see how
I do
issues.
have a question on it. So just to make sure I heard that correctly, because it's the maintenance budget stuff, but some of the jails contract services are under John's budget?
yes, we pay all the utilities. The utilities come out of both contract services. We keep the jail separate on a purchase order, to keep their expenses separate, but we pay all the utilities for all the
That's what
buildings.
most of that is, utilities.
Yeah,
Gotcha, thank you.
Okay, here we go. Ribbon cutting, tell us about Fostoria.
They had the ribbon cutting yesterday, an open house yesterday afternoon for the Fostoria Learning Center, and it was also on Channel 11 News last night, I don't know where else, but, so I just brought back that if anybody wanted to see one of those beautiful building. Another example of how an old building such as a Kroger specifically adapted to an educational purpose. And this was, like the Kroger in town was done by the Educational Service Center. This building is done for the Fostoria Learning Center, and it is just absolutely well done, beautiful. And this is space for any entities. And it's a 501c3. It's a nonprofit organized group. And, you know, they as a nonprofit, were able to seek out various amounts of money. Representative Reineke was able to get them some capital improvement monies that was help them furnish it with equipment, some of the computers and some of those types of things. And it's available at a nonprofit rate. If an organization needs to rent a room, the Learning Center, they've got cooperative agreements with Terra, I think Owens, for some of the labs for learning. And the key thing to this, as we've learned when you look at unemployment numbers and what our industries and employers are saying out there, that they can't find people with the right trade skills to do X, Y, or Z, whatever it is, this can be these rooms can be adapted for that. There's some labs, but it doesn't mean it's always going to be training for STNAs. It doesn't mean it's always going to be training for construction. In fact, there was a construction class that's already in use being done there now. They're past their, I don't know if it was apprenticeship or intern stage, going to the next stage of what they have to do for continuing ed and that kind of thing. So it's a tool for the community to use to make sure we're getting people trained and up to par and into the workforce with the skill sets they have to be employed. So it's way cool, worth seeing.
Perfect, very good. Thank you for doing that for us.
Yep.
October 3rd meeting.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could move the October 3rd meeting to the evening. It's the one we're gonna have at the annex.
Yeah, I've got, the only thing I've got on my calendar that day is Tiffin Management Council's political roundtable at 5 o'clock at Kearney. I guess,
Oh,
Can we do it in?
and that's, that is the one that they do with the local elected.
right,
To be part of it, the mayor and us and others, that's their standard meeting for the IMCs.
if we could do it at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, or if we could do it at, we can show up to that and do it at 6, I guess, I don't know.
I'll have to check with the judges to make sure they don't have anything going on if we're gonna do it during work hours, so. Just to,
Well, I mean, the other alternative would be to, how is the schedule the 4th?
There's a regional planning meeting at 5:30 that day.
Say what?
Regional planning meeting at 5:30 that day, if you're still looking at evening for that.
That's a full board meeting or executive?
It says all commissioners, regional planning.
That's a board meeting,
Okay, I'll put that down. What time is that?
5:30.
I don't know.
All right, how about, how is, the 2nd? On both days.
Second, yeah, I'm not available.
2nd doesn't work? Okay. How is the 10th?
Mike,
Yes.
the regional planning meeting may be rescheduled because I'm in Columbus for training that day.
Oh, so that may
So
not
the
conflict
4th
with that.
might work.
Okay, so the 4th,
So we were gonna have this one in the annex, is that what you said?
Yeah.
okay, how's, either the 4th or how's the 10th, that next Tuesday? Or the regular
Well, then you wouldn't have a
schedule?
meeting at all on the week, the first week. I don't know if that impacts anything, but.
No, we'd have a regular meeting on the 3rd.
Oh, this is just a separate meeting, not the board meeting.
No, this is the board meeting, I think. Well, what's I'm misunderstanding? Shane wants to have the board meeting at the annex, is that right?
Right.
Okay, so the 3rd, we would have it at the regular time, and then the 10th, we could have it at the annex, does that work for you?
What was the third? Did you need it off the third altogether, Shane?
No, I was just hoping we can move it to the evening that day.
Well, we can move the 3rd to the evening, well, if you wish, or how,
Could we, what time is the roundtable?
well, 5 o'clock.
It
What time's
says-
it over?
It says 5 to 7 is what it's worked out.
I assume
as.
it's dinner.
Okay.
Yes, it
Does-
is. Yeah, we've already got the thing,
Does
yeah.
4 o'clock work for you?
Yeah, I don't know if it works for you guys. We could do 7 o'clock after the roundtable.
I'm okay, we can, why don't we, Monday doesn't work for you?
No.
Or does Wednesday work for you?
Yep.
So why don't we change the meeting to Wednesday that week, October 4th? Is that okay with you, Commissioner?
Fine for me.
All right, so we'll do commissioners on the 4th.
Afternoon or evening, correct?
Commissioners on the
On the
4th is going, let's go ahead and kill that bird with, yeah, let's do it in the evening
Okay.
at the annex.
Let's say we got Ohio Public Works.
Pending check with the judges. And that would be at 5? Does that work?
Guess regional planning definitely is gonna move their meeting.
Me and Columbus, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What is that?
So we were canceling the 3rd and
Canceling.
rescheduling it to the 4th.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we're gonna go at 5 o'clock on the 4th at the annex, as long as the judges are okay. I know they're not in session at 5 typically, but they could be having a trial or something, I don't know. Yes, yes.
John.
Your Honor.
Will you need,
Hello?
do you envision the meeting going from one floor to the other to the other?
Yeah. Yes.
The purpose is to check the, or to evaluate the bids that we're going to.
So the answer would be, yeah, you're probably gonna go from floor to floor at some point in the meeting.
I
But
think
I know I don't have anything at 5 o'clock.
Okay, I think what we'll do, Your Honor, is we'll meet, wherever in the first floor. And then anybody that wants to take the tour after the meeting.
Oh, okay,
Will be allowed to do so.
okay.
Am I asking any of the judges to attend?
Certainly invite them, since it's gonna be in the annex, they don't have to, but if they wanna give a tour of their courtrooms to the public, they have that opportunity. The last time, I would think they tour those courtrooms, I hope.
Judge Meyer?
Yes,
Well,
all right.
Let him do the tours.
We have to wait till 10:30 on the bid opening, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead with the appropriations. Oh, sorry, housekeeper, job opening.
Oh, yeah. With all of the special events going on over the weekend, kind of decided to put the housekeeper position that we had discussed during budget time last year, that, we put it in the budget. He's got it in his salaries, everything. We talked about anywhere between $9 to $10 starting out. And with everything going on this weekend, we thought it'd be a good weekend to get it in the paper.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, with the special events going on, so we wanted to get it run in the paper. It doesn't mean we actually have to do the hiring, but we want to get that process started. Justice Center's gonna be going up. This is, last year we lost our Crossway cleaners, so we have some of our cleaners doing overtime now just to pick up the slack, so.
Well, we have to have that discussion. I mean, we've talked a long time about do we have enough maintenance staff? And I think probably that discussion may happen again as
Right,
well
yeah.
sometime, especially when the courthouse goes up.
Right.
Or when it's full-time online.
For cleaners, this'll fill the gap for cleaners. So,
So I wanted to kind of made the executive decision, just at least put the advertisement in the paper to get it run, and we've actually had quite a few responses already, and
Good.
once we get them all in, we'll obviously let you review it and see if you still want to move forward with that position.
Okay. All right, appropriations.
I have a supplement to the permit appropriations to the county sewer district fund, moving $353 into Honey Creek admin fees, $842 into New Regal, $55 into Bascom, and $3,300 into 224 and 23. An appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $13,180 from equipment lines to contract services. This is at the request of the sheriff. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the Housing Revolving Loan Fund, putting $8,542 into contract services, $4,885 into private rehab. To refund the city of Tiffin for the repayment of a mortgage.
You want me to explain it?
Yeah, after we get through here, yeah.
A resolution establishing Seneca County's contributions to the high deductible health savings account for employees that enroll in the health savings account for 2018, which was discussed in a kind of generic resolution we passed last week, but we needed to do the official resolution. 500 for the single plans, 1,000 for the family plans. Also a resolution establishing the Seneca County premium contributions and health insurance rates for calendar year 2018. Again, we agreed to last week, just putting it in our official resolution. A resolution establishing Seneca County's health insurance plan design for calendar year 2018. Again, there was no changes other than deductibles went up, but that was required by law. No changes that we were making. So. I have a resolution authorizing the appointment to the Board of Trustees for the Seneca County Transportation Improvement District, all pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code 5540.02. Again, we were just reappointing the same designees and entities as last time. My resolution authorizing amendment number 2 with Patchworks House, contract on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services. A resolution authorizing amendment number 3 with Patchworks House, a contract on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services. So they're extending it to September 30th. And then I have a resolution authorizing the agreement with Seneca Crawford Area Transportation Contract on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services, not to exceed $70,000. And that is all the resolutions I have.
Okay, go ahead, Charlene, what explanation do you have about this thing?
On the clarification for the supplemental appropriations to the Housing Revolving Loan Fund, in 2011, WSOS submitted a check to Seneca County Commissioners and a satisfaction of a mortgage to be completed in the amount of $8,542. During the audit process this year, it was determined that that should have went to the city of Tiffin and not Seneca County, and therefore we have to refund those funds to from Seneca County to the city of Tiffin for their program income, and they will issue a new satisfaction mortgage. We don't have to rescind the one on record. The private rehab portion for $4,885 is part of the funds that we committed under the Community Housing Impact and Preservation Grant from the revolving loan funds. This is the first project that they're asking for funds to, that we committed, that the county committed, and we have to put towards it. So this is our first invoice.
When you say we, do you mean the commissioners?
Yes,
Okay.
the county.
Any other thoughts or questions about this?
Also move to approve resolutions as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
And
Oh,
if I may ask a
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
With all the health insurance related things,
Yes.
do we have to have anything that establishes, or is it embedded in that, the wellness program?
Wellness is they're
Come
working
separate.
on, yes, yeah, we didn't agree to that, they didn't have a plan ready, we actually won't get that from Sevco until, or actually, it's not even Staywell anymore, it's a new company.
It's
but-
Interactive Health.
Yes,
Yeah.
So the old
And-
one is still in effect until the new one comes out, as far as reductions go.
Yeah, and it begins November 1 with their look back to October 1st. I looked through I just had comments on the program, but I can save those for them because I thought it was good, really good, so
yeah, we'll present that later.
I'll save that.
All right. Any other discussion?
That's all I have.
Try roll call now.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Yes. Okay, we have reached the magic hour of 10:30, which means we have a bill opening, right?
Yep.
For the Opportunity Bus. That sounds like a kids program, the Opportunity Bus.
Sign-in sheet. More out here.
Unrelated to this bid opening, but yet related, the Seneca County Transportation Planning Group that I sat on the steering committee for, and so does Mr. Davison. We just had I don't know when we got that, but I did mine this morning. They asked us to do a ranking of priorities, of the top 20 priorities that we see for transportation planning for Seneca County, because we have to update that plan every so often. And what's key about that plan is that this allows, like, the Opportunity Center, SCAT, other agencies that have transportation fleets, anything they need with that, to go for funding, your county has to have a plan. So I forwarded you both a copy of that if you want to go on, because he said he'd encourage all of us to do that ranking. It doesn't take very long, but
That's a DOT thing?
yeah, it's through ODOT. So that's what that is. And
So it looks like I have 3 here. And this again is for the 64 passenger school bus for the Seneca County Opportunity Center. The first bid is from Rush Truck Centers of Ohio, doing business as Rush Truck Center, Lima, out of Lima, Ohio. And let's see here. Looks like I have 2 bids. One is for gas-powered with a wheelchair lift for $94,748. Or a 64 passenger Cummins diesel powered with precision transmission with wheelchair for $97,964. I'm guessing there was in the bid, must have been a trade-in. Trade-in value of the 2005 for $2,300. And I think that's it. Second one is from Meyer Equipment Corporation out of Canfield, Ohio. Looks like trade-in value was $4,000. Base cost per unit $98,963.
Was the bid asked to be in both diesel and gas, or just?
Um,
The request was for gas, but some were also submitting diesel too as an option.
Okay.
Okay, next one is from Cardinal Bus Sales and Services out of Lima, Ohio. Total bid is $94,100 and trade-in $3,000, and they do include, he's including an optional propane engine assuming an increase to the bid would be $11,724. And that's all I have.
So Ron gets to take those and review them. Appreciate the bids.
Yeah.
When will you act on the bid?
When will we act on the bids? Ron, when will you be back?
We'll do it the next board meeting, which will be the second Tuesday of October.
Second Tuesday next week? Okay. Okay, any other business? Time for public comment. Anybody have anything on their mind to speak about? Okay, if not, we are adjourned.